Okay, so the video today is on contaminated site remediation as set out by the Environmental Management Act, British Columbia. I'm Scott DeBeck,
And I'm Jamie Tennant.
and I'll introduce the first half of the video. So to go over some background, the Environmental Management Act was implemented on July 2004, which replaced the Waste Management Act. This allows the government to be a little more flexible and covers contaminated sites more thoroughly, which is the uh, topic of the video. So why is it relevant? Many sites have become contaminated through industrial or commercial activities uh, in BC with toxic materials such as heavy metals and others, as you can read there. In BC, there are over 14,000 different contaminated sites at various stages of remediation, including being screened for contaminants, being cleaned up, being monitored, and confirmed clean. Some high profile sites in BC are the Nexen site near Squamish, the Song East site near Victoria, and the area below Oak Street Bridge in Vancouver. Some notable Crown land remediation sites are the Britannia Mine, which is just outside of North Vancouver, and the Pacific Place in downtown Vancouver. A notable brown site is Dockside Green in Victoria, where the area was previously contaminated and is now being remediated to its full potential and is home to many residential buildings. So Division 2 of the Contaminated Sites section of the Environmental Act goes through the identification of a contaminated site. It defines the site registry, which is established with over 14,000 different sites in BC. Remediation projects must provide access to the site information in the site registry. Determination of a contaminated site is determined by a director, and the boundaries of the site are based on the results of a site profile and site investigation. Division 3 of the EMA goes over the liability of who is responsible for remediation. The EMA casts a wide net of liability, including previous landowners and current landowners and transporters of contaminants. A person who is deemed responsible for the contamination of a site is liable to any person or government for reasonable cost of remediation. One or more site can share liability of a contaminated site as determined by the court, and liability applies to sites that may have previously been allowed to introduce contaminants under previous legislation. In order for a person to seek compensation for remediation costs, the site must be determined to be contaminated, regardless if the remediation has already taken place. To continue the rest of the video, Jamie will take my place.
So Division 4 establishes the implementation of remediation and who is responsible. So directors and responsible persons enter into voluntary remediation agreements regarding financial provisions, site security, remediation requirements, and the schedule for remediation to take place. Public consultation has to happen based on the size and location of the contaminated site, along with the potential for human exposure or environmental pollution, or the potential for contaminated migration. Approvals in principle can be issued once a remediation plan by a company has been reviewed, approved, and can be implemented with conditions specified by a director. And certificates of compliance are issued once remediation is completed in accordance with risk-based standards and these director-approved remediation plans. Contaminated soil relocation is a special case of remediation that requires an agreement between a responsible person of the contaminated site and an owner of the receiving site that's approved by the director. For all remediation projects, a director has to consider whether there are permanent mitigation solutions that are feasible, and if there are, they have to give these solutions preference. A recent example of a contaminated site was Victoria's Tent City that was occupied by around 300 homeless people on the lawn of Victoria's courthouse. It was dismantled in August 2016 and soil samples that were taken at the site found lead, gasoline, and diesel, along with concentrations of meth, heroin, cocaine, LSD, and MDMA. So because of this, it was classified as a contaminated site under the Environmental Management Act, and the government hired an environmental consulting firm for a remediation project, and their plan is to install a playground at the site. So following contaminated soil relocation provisions, they subcontracted a waste management company to truck away a ton of dirt from the site for treatment at their own waste management facility. And total remediation cost will be around $350,000 for the site, with the project being completed by spring of 2017. Thanks for watching the video. For more information, you can view the Environmental Management Act online at the BC Laws site, or you can check out the Government of BC's website for more information on contaminated sites in BC and the BC Site Registry. Thanks for watching.